Can I tell you something I don't say very often? A few weeks ago, I was sitting on the kitchen floor after a really hard day. Both girls had been really challenging. I'd lost my patience more than once. I'd raised my voice when I didn't need to. And I sat there thinking, I should know better than this. I've spent almost 15 years helping other parents. I teach this stuff. And I still got it wrong that day. That feeling, that heavy, exhausting feeling that you've failed your children, somehow I know. Not just professionally, personally. If you're watching this right now, I think you know it too. Maybe you just lost your temper. Maybe you let the screen time go on for a bit too long. Maybe you forgot something important, or snapped at someone you love, or just felt like everyone else is doing this better than you. Look, if that's the case, this video is for you. Not to tell you that everything is fine and that parenting is all sunshine and rainbows, but to give you 10 genuine reasons why the fact that you feel like a terrible parent is actually evidence that you're not. And look, stick around to the end, because I've got a free printable reminder card for you. Something you can stick on the fridge or in the bathroom just for those days when you need it the most. Okay? Okay, so the first reason is that you care enough to worry. Here's the first thing I want you to hear. The fact that you are worried about whether you're a good parent, that worry itself is the evidence. Look, about 4 weeks before my first was born, I was genuinely terrified about whether I'd be a good dad or not, even though I'd worked in the industry for that as long as I did. I remember actually putting a post out on my Facebook page expressing my concern, saying that I'm genuinely worried. And one of my friends replied, and I'll never forget this, and he said, the fact that you're so worried means you'll be a great parent. And that always stuck with me. The fact that I cared so much about whether I'd be good or not means that I'll try extra hard to be a good dad. And look, in all my time of working in the industry, I have never, not once, met a genuinely terrible parent who was worried about whether they were a terrible parent. People who don't care about their children don't lie awake at night questioning their choices. They don't search YouTube at midnight looking for answers. They don't feel guilty when they get it wrong. You are watching this video. That means you care. And caring is the single most important ingredient in good parenting. Everything else can be learned, improved, and worked on. But you can't teach someone to care. You either do or you don't. And you do. In one of my previous videos, when I was talking about daycare centres, I said that 80% of the daycare is the staff. And I'd go one further than that. I'd say 80% of your staff and the issues you have with them is their attitude. If you've got the right attitude, then that's 80% of the job done. So well done. You're watching this video. That shows me you care. Okay, so the second reason is that you're still here and you're still trying. Parenting is relentless. The hours suck. It doesn't clock off at 5. There's no sick days. There are no performance reviews that tell you what you're doing well. There's no salary. And for a lot of parents, a lot of us, it's done while trying to balance your finances, while you're sleep deprived, stressing your relationships and our own unresolved stuff from our own childhoods. And yet here we are. We're still showing up. We're still trying to do better. We're still looking for answers on the days that we feel lost. That's not what terrible parents do. Terrible parents give up. You haven't. You won't. The fact that you're still here, still trying, still caring, that counts for more than you know. There's so many people out there who have walked out on their families or just given their child to their parents themselves to raise. You're not there. You're still in the thick of this. You're still going. Keep it up, guys. Okay, so the third reason is that you put their needs first, even when it costs you. Think about the last time you genuinely put your child's needs ahead of your own. Not just because someone was watching, not because you had to, just because that's what they needed and you love them. Maybe it was getting up at 3 a.m. when you were completely empty. Maybe it was sitting through a school event when you were completely exhausted. Maybe it was spending money on something that you didn't really have to spare. Those small, invisible daily sacrifices that nobody sees and nobody thanks you for, they're the texture of good parenting. They're not dramatic or Instagram worthy. They're just the quiet evidence of how much you love your child. Terrible parents don't make those sacrifices. They don't even notice that it's possible. You make them every single day without even thinking twice. Okay, so reason number 4, you show up even on your worst days. I want to talk about something parenting content rarely acknowledges honestly. Not every day is a good parenting day. Some days you're patient and present and everything just flows. And some days you're just running on empty. Everything irritates you and you're just trying to get through to bedtime. Both of these are real. Both of these are normal. And both of those days, you showed up for your child. Good parenting isn't about having perfect days. It's about the long game. The accumulation of days where you turned up, even imperfectly, even when it was hard, even when you weren't your best self. That consistency is what children need, and it's what you're providing. Your child doesn't need a perfect parent. They need a present one. And you are it. You know, availability is often more important than ability. I'll give you an example. Elton John, great singer-songwriter. But if he doesn't show up to a concert, it's a terrible concert. At least you're turning up and you're there every day. Okay, so reason 5, you apologise when you get it wrong. This one matters so much more than parents realise. The ability to say sorry to your child genuinely without deflecting and making it all about you is one of the most powerful things you can do as a parent. It teaches your child that adults can make mistakes, that mistakes don't make you a bad person, that taking responsibility is what good people do. That love doesn't require perfection. And it repairs the relationship in a way that pretending nothing happened can never. A genuine, I'm sorry I raised my voice, that wasn't fair on you, does more for your child's emotional security than you can imagine. So the other week, the laptop I'm recording this on broke. We opened it up and there was a huge crack on the screen. Immediately, I jumped to that one of my daughters had picked it up and dropped it or done something to it. And you know what? I raised my voice and I lost my temper at them. I went to the shop to get it fixed and they said that no one dropped it. There was an issue with the hinge on the laptop, and when I opened it, the hinge is what caused the broken screen. I felt like the worst dad in the world. As soon as I got back, I scooped both my girls up into my arms and I just said, I'm so sorry. Can you forgive me? That was wrong of me to think that was you. You know, that meant the world to them that I did that. You know, sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and admit that you're not perfect and that you're sorry, genuinely. Okay, so reason number 6 is that you celebrate them. You are your child's first and most important audience. Before the world tells them who they are, before teachers and peers and social media and all the noise, you are the voice that tells them what they're worth. And you celebrate them, not just the big milestones, the first steps, the first words, the school performances, but the small ones too. The drawing that goes on the fridge, the way they figured something out, the kindness that they showed someone, the courage it took to try something scary. Those celebrations, especially the small everyday ones, are building something inside your child that will last their whole life. A sense that they are seen, that they matter, that someone is genuinely delighted by who they are. That's not nothing. That's everything. Okay, so reason 7, you're teaching them without even realizing it. Here's something that just might reframe how you see your ordinary days. Your child is learning from you constantly, not just the moments you're intentionally teaching, but in every single interaction they observe. They're watching how you handle frustration, how you treat people who can't do anything for you, how you respond when things go wrong, how you apologize, how you keep going when things are hard, how you love the people in your life. All of that to them is curriculum. All of that is shaping who they're becoming. And the fact that you're a person of genuine warmth and care, which you clearly are, or you wouldn't be watching this, means the lessons they are absorbing from you are good ones. You're teaching them more than you know every single day. Some of the ones in my life are please and thank yous. Manners don't cost a thing, I tell them, yet it opens up so many doors for them. My eldest still talks about the couple of times when she was younger that I helped out a homeless person and just went and bought some food for them from the shop or something. Those moments they see in day-to-day life, they remember, and it helps mold and shape who they are. Okay, so reason 8, you're carrying a lot and you're still showing up. I want to acknowledge something that most parenting content often glosses over. Most parents are not parenting in ideal conditions. They're parenting while managing that financial stress, while navigating their own mental health, while working jobs that exhaust them, while dealing with relationship difficulties, while carrying grief or anxiety or trauma from their own childhoods that nobody ever helped them process. And they're doing it anyway, getting up every morning and showing up for their children despite carrying all of that. If that's you, and I suspect it might be, I want you to hear this. The fact that you are still choosing your child every day, despite everything you're carrying, is not the minimum. It is remarkable, and you deserve to know that. Okay, so reason 9, your love for them is unconditional. I want you to think about your child for a moment, just for a second. Take a step back, close your eyes, and just bring that face to mind. That feeling that just happened, that warmth, that protectiveness, that love that doesn't have any conditions or a limit, that is one of the most powerful forces in human experience. And your child feels it. Even when you get it wrong, even on the hard days, they feel it. Research in child development is consistent on this. Children who know that they are unconditionally loved have better mental health outcomes, stronger relationships, greater resilience, and more confidence throughout their lives. Not because the parents were perfect, but because their parents loved them completely. You love your child completely. I can tell that just from the fact that you're here. And that love, imperfect and human as it is in its expression, is the most important thing you'll ever give to them. Okay, last one. And I'm going to actually ask you to hear this rather than to immediately dismiss it. You are doing better than you think. I know that that's easy to say, but when you're in the middle of a hard day, it doesn't always feel true. But here's what nearly 15 years worth of working with children and families has taught me. The parents who worry about whether they're good enough are almost the ones who are. The self-awareness, the guilt, the drive to do better, that's not failure. That's exactly what good parenting looks like from the inside. The version of yourself that your child sees is not the version you see when you're lying awake cataloguing those failures. They see the parent who showed up, who kept going, who loved them on the hard days as well as the easy ones. That's who you are. And it's enough. You are enough. So look, I started this video sitting on a kitchen floor feeling like I'd done everything wrong. And I want to end it by saying that feeling doesn't make you a terrible parent. It actually makes you a human one. But your child doesn't need you to be perfect. They need you to be present, to keep trying, to love them loudly and honestly and completely. And you're doing all those things, even on the days when it doesn't feel like it. Look, the free printable reminder card is in the description below. 10 reminders for those hard days. Stick it somewhere that you'll see it the most. Look, if this video helped you today, or if you need to send it to another parent who needs to hear it, please share it. Please like and subscribe, because there's so much more coming. You are not a terrible parent. You are a loving, trying, showing up, doing your best type parent. And that is everything. And don't forget, let's all walk in love and peace.